are listening to Nocturnal Frequency Radio, hosted by Steve Jenny and his satanic assistant, Alex Houdini, both of whom can't go into churches without vomiting.
What's going on, Alex?
Not much. I got to record my a segment of someone vomiting so that when that portion comes up, we could start with that.
You gotta from the bellows, man. It's gotta
Yeah.
it's gotta sound demonic. It has to sound like
I know.
possessed, like
See if I can find someone.
it's like give somebody the one chip challenge.
Mm.
Because 9 out of 10 times they're gonna puke out there, man. They can't handle the heat. So that's coming from the bowels, man. It's
Yep.
We've got Dr. Demon Gord and Justin Villarreal on this evening. We'll bring him in a few minutes here, but it's cold still, man.
It is.
It's
It's
still
not
cold.
as bad today as it was past couple of days, and it's supposed to get warmer tomorrow, but
Yeah, but it's
still a bit frigid.
cold. Yeah, man. What the hell? What's going on? Hey, Leon, how are you? It's you shot me a link this afternoon about the immortal big fat burrito. Hey, Sue.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on, man? I never knew it opened back up.
I kind of had heard that it was still open in Kensington Market, but I could never for the life of me find it. Like I drove by Kensington Market a couple of times and it's like, where the fuck is this place? But apparently it was combined with a cocktail bar
Yeah.
or something to that effect.
So
I don't know.
apparently that's going to stay open, though, right? The cocktail bar.
Bar is, yes.
So that kind of means, and the article basically said that, wow, like don't count us out yet.
That's right.
So I mean, there is a glimmer of hope that Big Fat Burrito will be back.
That's right.
And
Bigger and better.
I think if bigger and better.
Yeah.
And I think if it does come back, we need to approach them and say, hey, look, guys,
Give us some
come
free
on.
burritos. We've
Free
been giving you
burritos,
some
and we'll promote you
free advertising.
free advertising just for free burritos.
Yeah. Well, we've been giving them free advertising for years now.
Yeah, but we want to get something out of it, though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, get some free burritos, man.
Those burritos are the best, dude.
Yeah, they were really good, man. So upset when they closed down.
Yeah, but don't get the large. Unless you're really, really like being extremely.
You gotta be
hungry,
really fucking hungry, man.
Really, really hungry. Really hungry. Okay, let's bring in Justin here. Yo, what's up?
What's happening?
Testing 1 2.
You're good.
Hey,
You're good.
it's
We can hear
working.
ya. It's smooth. It's smooth.
Yeah, I gotta let the computer warm up.
Yeah. It's buttery smooth.
Buttery smooth.
I
So
love it.
velvety smooth. You're listening to the sounds and the voice of the velvety smooth Justin Villarreal.
Justin's got the type of voice that he could pass for a phone sex operator for
Even better.
for
I hope I get your
for the
tax-
unsavory.
The unsavory, yeah. He was one of those guys on those party lines years ago. You know?
Yeah,
You used to
those
call him
party
up,
lines. Yeah,
and
yeah.
he'd disguise his voice. Hi, can I help you?
I was a hit with the older ladies. I remember working retail, and they would tell me I had such a sexy voice, and I was like, "That's good to know."
Hey,
Yeah,
just because they're older doesn't mean they don't need loving.
That's true. And I was the guy ready for that, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, I remember years ago. There's a radio station here, 107 Q107
Q107, yeah.
FM, rock station.
Okay.
And I remember a long time ago, I remember calling in to try to win tickets for a concert. And I called in and, the phone picks up. All I hear are all these voices talking. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? This is fucked up. And I'm like, hello? Hello? All of a sudden you hear somebody, hello? Is this Q107? No, this is the blah, blah, blah party line. What? No way, man. Party line.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's some classic stuff back in the
Oh yeah,
those
man.
commercials. Call the party line now.
Yeah.
Hey.
But they hacked into Q107's
Oh
line.
geez.
And they're rerouting X amount of their calls, I guess. I
Yeah.
don't know, whatever. And I remember I was so addicted, man. I remember like calling it up and getting in there, and got to know a couple of the operators and shit like that. And I remember even going to their fucking headquarters,
Oh wow.
right in Scarborough, Alex. It was in
fuck.
Scarborough, right? And because you wanted to meet some of the girls that were like, the female voices. You wanted to put a face to it. And let me tell you, man. Let me tell you, man.
Did it look like Justin?
They definitely didn't look like their voices. That's for sure.
Scarborough, holy.
Yeah, but it was fun. I mean, that was the internet, right? Really,
Yeah.
what it was at that point. There was no internet, really. Well, there was, but there wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't like it is now.
It was on the cusp of breaking free and becoming the Wild West.
Yeah.
Dial up internet when that's
Dial up internet. Yeah, it's like, oh, this is cool, man.
Waiting 15 minutes for my porn.
Yeah.
Or someone yelling out goes. Someone else is yelling out, goes, get off the fucking internet. I need to make a call.
Like the climax scene lasted like 2 hours because it kept buffering.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get this over with already.
Or when
Hurry up, I'm running out of lotion.
Yeah.
Well, that's edgy now, so that's not a bad thing anymore. So.
Yeah.
Guys, a little too quick these days.
Well, we're just waiting for Dr. Demon Gord. What I saw him in chat. Did you?
I saw him in chat. Yeah, I think he's hiding from us.
Gord, the link's in your messenger.
He's scared for the demons.
I think so. Maybe he's having troubles.
Yeah, I used to love calling in on the radio shows and actually getting to know some of the operators and whatnot. It was pretty cool, especially the smaller ones. They actually kind of knew who you were, depending on the subject and everything. Oh, hey, blah, blah. And my least favorite thing was because everything's a soundbite. You had to get everything you were saying in such a short amount of time, and that's what I hate the most about that. But for the most part, it was always cool because you're like, I'm on the radio.
I know.
Yeah.
I remember. Yo, hey, Dr. Demon Core.
Hey, what's happening, guys?
What's going on, buddy?
It didn't pop up, so I didn't know you had sent the link yet.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. You're here. Thank God you made it.
We can all settle down now. We're all good. It's all right. I was listening to the 2-minute porn climax. So
well, it's funny because I remember. Oh, what were we talking about? Justin, what were you talking about? I got sidetracked there.
Oh, calling into the radio shows.
Yeah, I remember years ago working in a grocery store over on night shift, and I was working in this small little grocery store, and there was only myself and another guy, and the guy's name was Pete. And I remember we had listened to this. I don't know if you guys remember. Well, Justin, you may not, but Gordon and Alex, you may. Jim Richards on 1010.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Jim Richards show?
Yep.
Not really.
Anyhow, I remember calling into his show, and his thing was, where are the best places to eat in Toronto, right? And I called up, and I go, the other guy I was working with is Pete, so I snuck into the back room into the meat department there, and I get on the phone, and you know, I get through to the call dude, and he's like, "Who's this?" And I said, "This is Pete, the grocery guy." And you know, Pete's listening, you know, away because he's, you know, that's what we're listening to, and you know, I can see him perfectly through the doors, right? And you know, he looks up to the roof, and he's like, Pete, the grocery guy, what the fuck, right? And so yeah, you know, and Jim says, "Hey, Pete, the grocery guy. So let me guess, you work at a grocery store. How did you fucking guess?" Right? You know, well, you know, I got a great place for you guys to eat, man. It's called the House of Lancaster.
Oh fuck! Oh Jesus!
Oh, what's that?
For those of you who don't know, the House of Lancaster
Yeah.
is a strip joint.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And of course, Jim Richards. House of Lancaster. Well, you know, they have good food. Oh yeah, their food's amazing, man. It's always fresh.
They
Always
have the best fish tacos.
yeah.
That should be a given.
Yeah.
Given the establishment.
But you know, I'm looking at Pete, and Pete's like, "Holy fuck, man! This." He's laughing his ass off. He's going, "Holy fuck!" Right? So you know, I end the conversation. Anyways, I did it every Wednesday night for like a month, and he didn't clue into me fucking doing this. And he's like, "Hey, have you been hearing this guy calling into the Jim Richards show? He's calling himself Pete the grocery guy." And I just started howling. I'm like, "Dude, man, that's me." He goes, "Fuck, get the fuck out of here." I go, "There's a
What other
reason why."
suggestions did you make aside from House of Lancaster?
Oh, it was like a different. I only did House of Lancaster.
I should have done. There's more strip joints available.
I know, no, but it was like a different topic every Wednesday night sort of thing.
Ah, fuck.
Yeah. So how's it going, Gord?
It's going good. It's been a snowy, blustery, blizzardy. Damn, this last week.
Oh yeah, you guys got pelted pretty bad.
Oh, we got pummeled with the lake effect for like 4 days.
Oh, jeez.
Oh no
Granted,
way, man.
not as bad as last year. It was just a lot of snow this time.
Yeah.
Like no real. There was a few whiteouts here and there, but nowhere near as bad.
Too bad you couldn't make it down to the Buffalo Pittsburgh game and help them dig out, eh?
Dig out and then put tobogganing in the field apparently, and they were putting their beers in the snow next to their chairs.
Yeah. They basically said sit wherever. You know, if you had tickets, hey, pick a spot. I mean, you really, because it was fun. You should have seen it, man. It was just like it was covered up until the game, pretty much. Still, I mean, they made sure the field was playable. It was in great condition, but only some of the seating areas were cleared. But for the most part, they were still snowed in, man.
That's brutal.
But as you can see, as cold as it was, and as much snow that was there, it looked like a one big party, man.
Well, I'm not surprised. Like majority of my coworkers are Bills fans, and they're all going nuts tonight as they take on KC Chiefs.
Yeah, what's the score in that game, anyways?
It was 10-3. I'm not sure.
Last I saw it was 20-17 for KC. I think it was
27-24 Kansas City.
Oh wow, close game.
Fourth quarter.
It's going to go right down to the wire, just like the Baltimore game there.
Oh, I think so too.
Or no, the Detroit. Whatchamacallit, Detroit and who the fuck was Detroit playing? I can't even remember. Team. Yeah, another sports team, another football team.
Another sports ball team.
Go local sports team.
Yeah. So Green Bay? No, it wasn't Green Bay. It was Green. No, Green Bay
paid the 49ers.
Yeah, and that was a close game.
Oh my God, was it?
Fuck. 20, what was it, 24-20 or some shit like that?
I forget. I wasn't watching it.
Yeah. So, Justin, how about you? What have you been up to, man?
Oh, all sorts of things. Traveling, hurting myself.
Yeah, you tripped on down to Florida. How was that?
It was beautiful. It literally was beautiful. It was a whole, not a whole week in Florida, but a whole week of traveling. And we went through Tennessee, Georgia, We did not go to Louisiana, but we ended up going the other way. So we went to Tennessee, Georgia, and then down to Florida. And we've been looking for property in Tennessee. Not sure when we're actually gonna do this, but staying in Chattanooga, it was beautiful, and it sold me on moving to Tennessee.
Oh, fucking Chattanooga is so beautiful, man.
Seriously, I was taken away by it, and I can't wait. I mean, I really can't wait to move out there. Even just being out there, I went to Home Depot I went to Home Depot on my vacation,
Yeah.
and just going there it just felt like everything that I needed to be where we were in Chattanooga was just right there. I didn't have to drive too far compared to out here in Chicago, which you could find the Home Depot fairly easily, but the way it was situated, and then you have the mountains in the background, and
It's
just
beautiful.
beautiful. It was beautiful. Florida, on the other hand, not as beautiful as I expected. And this is a comment I made about it. It reminded me of Illinois, but with palm trees. It really reminded me of Illinois palm trees, and I felt like I at home. But if I would move to Florida, but I'm not a heat person really, and I don't think I could handle all the storms and the humidity and stuff that they have out there. But Tennessee, I'm totally down. It's moderate. You got all sorts of things to do, and just overall, the scenery is wonderful. But Florida, by far, fun place. Most definitely, whatchamacallit, oh my God, St. Augustine. That was
beautiful, huh?
That made me feel like I was in another state compared to being everywhere else in Florida that we were.
Yeah.
And, I was like, man, we got to come back here because we didn't even get to do everything we wanted. But being there on Christmas, and
that's right. Yeah,
it was. I have to say, it didn't feel like it was a weird experience. I was actually going to make a whole thing and do a podcast on this, but I just got from my ban from Facebook a couple weeks ago because they banned me. I'm able to do the things I can, but I can't go live, and it just was ended a few weeks ago. Even though it's been months, like it's been ridiculous what they do. So I didn't go yet, but I was gonna have a whole thing where I was gonna explain all these things. But by far, when it came to being it didn't feel like it. Like I just. Then again, the holidays this year, my cat's destroying stuff right now. My D&D bolster, just in case. Knocking it down over here. It didn't feel like a holiday. It felt like any old day. I mean, there was just something about, even like Halloween, but the magic of being in another state, and even the magic of going to Disney World, the Magic Kingdom, I was blown away. Like, there was aspects that reminded me of Great America. People don't know that's another amusement park that we have here in Illinois, which I actually worked at for 3 years, a long time ago, decades ago. It was magical. I literally was taken by it. Even the animatronics, the way they set everything up, it was a magical experience, and I was almost having a spiritual experience just being there. And then on the next day, which was Christmas, we went to Gatorland and a bunch of other places, and it was just something about it. It not being feeling like a holiday to me, it still was like a special thing. I can't really pinpoint it, but it was just a very cool feeling being there and whatnot. And
well, I mean, you're used to the colder climate, right? So
I think that's probably it too. Yeah.
When I went to, because back in 1999, I went to the Bahamas for around Christmas.
Oh wow,
time.
Mr. Fancy Pete here.
So yeah,
yeah.
So we flew into Fort Lauderdale, and then we kind of stayed in Orlando at night.
Yep.
We did Boca Raton at night, and then we took a cruise over to Bahamas for a couple of nights, and then came back. And it was around the Christmas time, so you saw the palm trees over there were decorated with the lights and all.
Oh yeah.
Didn't. I mean, you were in warm climate.
Yeah.
You know, and yourself, you're in the same shoes as we are. You're in a colder climate.
I was in shorts in December.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
the funny thing is, when we were in Florida, we were at the hotel and we went for a swim in the pool. People were looking at us like, "The fuck
why
are
you
you guys
in the
doing?"
pool? Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're like, "We're from Canada." It's like, okay, all right, and they walked away.
This is warm. This is hot right now.
It was warm. It was like 26 degrees Celsius. For us, that's
like 70s, right? Something like that. Yeah. I forget my conversion.
Anyway, it was funny.
Yeah,
but you're right. It feels different.
It is.
Justin, you're primarily on the ocean side of Florida.
Technically, I think it's the central side, but we did go
Okay.
to Orlando, which is closer.
Oh
more
yeah,
eastern. Yeah. We were in Kissimmee. That's where we were staying.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah,
you're the central.
It was.
I
I got to see the villages, which was, you always see it everywhere and
Mhm.
hearing all the stories. And I was like, holy heck, this is the world's greatest villages where all the old people bang. Yeah.
Yeah, I would highly recommend the Gulf side.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like especially the north. Not so much Tallahassee up that panhandle bit, but when you go down the coast, especially places like Tarpon Springs,
Okay. Yeah.
absolutely fucking beautiful.
Though it was beautiful. It was still. I can see why people love it out there. Again, for me, there was like it was familiar. Besides knowing that I'm seeing a nose running around everywhere, and and there's palm trees and stuff. But it was very familiar. I can see why people like. Oh, of course we were over there because I went to the freaking Atlantic Ocean. I'm sorry. Am I wrong? Getting that wrong right?
That's the other side.
Yeah. We went to the Pacific.
Hey, stop sniffing the catnip.
Yeah, I'm drinking my Ecto Cooler. That doesn't help. No, I got to experience the ocean, which I've never done, and that was, compared to the beaches out here in Chicago, it was beautiful. It was literally beautiful, and I think it was the perfect time to go because there wasn't a lot of people. So we literally have a whole area of just beach to ourselves, and as much as the ocean was cold, I got used to it, and I'm like, this ain't bad. And just watching the waves and the white, beaches, clean beaches and everything. And then I made my wonderful little drawings in the sand.
That's an illusion, eh? Clean beaches. That's
Yeah.
an illusion.
It ain't over here in Chicago, I'll tell you that.
Why is the sand clumpy?
It's just like, what? It was a beautiful experience, and I can't wait till we do it again. We might be doing it more often, and we might be interested in actually getting a timeshare out there to just kind of do what we want. It was very affordable. For the most, that's the reason why we did everything, was to find out about this timeshare stuff, which is a whole discussion in itself. But I was sold, and then I was more sold about being up in Tennessee. But out of the highlight of the Disney World and everywhere else, I was taken by Tennessee. Georgia, not as much.
No.
I can't pinpoint why. It's beautiful too, but Tennessee, seriously,
Tennessee's beautiful.
Yeah, and there's Mexicans there. So
there's what?
There's Mexicans there. So I'm like, I was surprised at how much I was like, this is little Mexico right now. And the places we visited, it was like, this is just like going on the south side of Chicago. Like
there's some good Mexican fare there too, man.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, like really good Mexican fare there.
We went to Mariachi Mall, I think it was, and which I'm gonna finally edit some videos and put them up on TikTok. But it was just wonderful the way they have everything situated there and whatnot. So I can't wait to go back, and I can't wait that we finally buy property out there, and then we could just do this all the time. And the kids loved it. They were like, let's go home, and like they already. It's like we already moved out there, and I think because we were traveling for a week, it already felt like we were home, living in condos and these cool little hotels and whatnot, which was really cool. Some of the hotels, they actually didn't let people within the state or within a certain area rent there. So if you're totally out of state, all these rooms were open to you, which was beautiful too, because we had to fight for anything. It was a perfect time to go. But besides that, being on traveling and whatnot, in December I ended up busting my face open. And
that's right.
I was working and 15 feet high in the air, trying to pull out this inducer draft motor, and the ladder literally slipped in front of me, from under me, and I just saw my hands, and I fell. Literally, here. Can we get close here?
Oh yeah, you still have it. Hey, yeah. Look at the scar. Yeah.
There we go. I gotta get that whole thing down. Oh no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say the other side there.
So anyways, I busted my whole face up, which I can't get my modeling gigs now, so who's gonna hire me?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a scary situation. I'm still recovering from that, and it really did suck walking around most of the time because I had to sit down a lot. And but besides all that, I was a trucker. I pulled through. We were hiking and whatnot. I just strapped my foot. My girlfriend, she got me a walking stick, which was a whole adventure in itself, which was really cool. A nice little story about that. They had them around in St. Augustine, but we couldn't find which shop. And all the people that I was talking to who worked at these shops weren't from there. So they barely do. They're like, actually, this is my first season here. And I was like, oh, wow, And I ran to someone from South Dakota who actually knew my friend who was working at the radio station out there. And I was like, that's hilarious. What a small world. But we ended up finding one, and I ran into some people. I think they were from Alabama. I forget. And they literally were going to give me their ticket to go to the Castile in St. Augustine because that's where they were selling walking sticks at. And I was like, you guys are freaking awesome. Like, it was just a great experience overall. Everyone was nice and just overall whatnot. But, yeah, trying to walk on a strained foot, which I'm scared if I'm going to be a gimp like this for the rest of my life. But who knows? We're going to give it a few more months, and hopefully my foot heals. But, yeah, from
it still hasn't healed.
Yeah, it's after a while, it gets kind of annoying. I can't say painful, but annoying is the best word for it. So I have to strap it up and ice it up every now and then and lift it. But it is what it is. It gives me a little sympathy points from the family because they're like, Daddy's foot hurts, so they don't bother me as much for a lot of things. But yeah, I miss being beautiful with an unscarred face and a fairly working body. But yeah, being 41 now, really showing my age that my body's not healing.
My God, you're a puppy.
Yeah.
41. He's the young buck of the group here. What's going on?
Yeah, I remember being 41. That was back quite some time ago.
You see, yeah, it's holy shit.
You need a walking stick when you get injured. We need a walking stick permanently.
Hey, trying to get up.
I'm already going that way. I actually had to use, where is it at? I had to use my grandfather's cane. Luckily, I had it for a bit until we got the other walking stick. And I was like, man, I'm really like an old man here walking down the stairs and everything. And, trying to go get my Grubhub from
Grubhub.
You waited till you get diarrhea. When you get
I got that already. Yeah.
Oh, he's got it already.
I already have those issues.
Oh man.
I eventually gotta get my polyps checked out at some point this year.
Fuck, you're only 41.
Yeah, it happened.
Well, I guess it's good to do it early, eh?
Yeah. They found out, and luckily nothing came back. But they're like, "Hey, you're gonna just double check that." So yeah, I'm already feeling it, but it is a sign of something going on because they did say this is usually something when you're older, and they are seeing it a lot, and even in the 30s, people getting polyps and whatnot. So I mean, there's
some diet, right?
Yeah, it's there's most definitely something on with the diet and whatnot. So I've been trying to keep things under control, and that's already been like 2 years since I've known that. But yeah, you gotta really take advantage of what health you have left before it gets any worse. And I'm doing the best I can, besides drinking my Ecto Cooler, which probably doesn't help. It helps with the pain.
You're allowed to unwind every once in a while. Come on. Yeah. You're 41. Come on.
Yeah. I put my time in, guys.
All right. Let's shift it over to what we're supposed to. Well, I guess what we're going to talk about. I mean, I know you guys are the same. These tools and the equipment and parlor tricks that are employed in paranormal investigations, and the claims that people make that, I've it's producing real proof of the paranormal or evidence, and so on and so on. I mean, what are your thoughts on? And I'll start with Gord. Like, what do you think about a lot of these tools that and we've used them, some of them, and I mean, what are your thoughts about the tools and hey, the accuracy? I don't want to say accuracy of actually producing, because I mean, we really don't know if it's proof of the paranormal, but your thoughts.
And that's the problem. Like, I'm all for anybody using anything, because at the end of the day, there is no actual proof that
Yeah.
the paranormal exists.
Mhm.
So why not try it? Maybe one day you'll stumble onto the device. My issue, and I've had to talk a few people out of it, is when these people are selling it for hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
The price, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you have no proof that it works. You're basing off evidence on a TV show where stuff can be manipulated, and you want to sell it for $500. Now, hey, great money making thing. That's a brilliant idea. Kudos to them for thinking about it. But there is no tool designed for ghost hunting because we don't know what ghosts are.
I mean, and essentially any tools that are employed, like I mean, you know, an EMF detector, you know, a temperature gauge, all these aren't actually to look for ghosts or to find ghosts. They're actually there to sort of give you
Yeah.
base readings, to rule out explainable elements that these actual devices are made to detect. And then anything outside these sort of devices could possibly be. I mean, but you know, it's you know, an detector automatically it's a ghost detector.
Yeah.
It's never been a ghost detector, but yet
No.
you have these things, you know, dialed in as ghost detectors. You know,
And then this goes back like not that it's wrong, but it goes back decades. You
yeah.
know, I forget the history of why they were using EMFs, but I think the problem, and especially when I first got into it, you know, again starting off with a ghost hunter's guidebook, you know, when I was 16 years old, probably younger, and you know, going through this, it's like, oh, you're finding ghosts, but once you start understanding them, well, not that I'm, you know, a scientist or anything, but once you become aware what the electromagnetic spectrum is, what things are operating under that, and so on, you start seeing things on a bigger picture. And I think the problem is that just like me being, you know, a teenager getting involved, a lot of people still have that mindset that they don't further dig, you know, or just like using any of this other equipment that you're seeing on TikTok now, which is just easily people sitting there with their ghost boxes and the with the K2 doing the communication thing with the K2 now and everything. They don't understand really what they're doing and what's happening with it. And I think that's the biggest problem with most of this equipment. It was when it started 100 years or so ago, and much longer than that. There were actually real scientists, you know, even like the original ghost hunt paranormal research groups were actually psychologists, scientists. There were people in fields who started the Psychical Research Foundation Society, which is based in England. These people actually are, you know, educators and whatnot who were using these tools. And why did they come to the conclusion that these are useful is something that I forget. But there is something to it. It's just that it's improperly applied in the field on the bigger spectrum of things, on the more popular spectrum. And I think that's what we're still dealing with and what causes the issues that we have, because we really don't have on a large scale a totally understanding. And I think the reason why I even go with more of the EMF side of things, because there's a lot to it, you know, our existence, with even creating life. There's a whole part of the electromagnetic spectrum that they believe helps spark the life on this earth. But besides all that, once you truly understand what's happening on an electromagnetic level, then you can understand what the EMF reader's doing. And that's really where you draw the line between these things. And again, like I said, you know, I fall more into that more than any other tool ever, because EMF frequencies in themselves can cause hallucinations, or they can maybe pull things out of the ether, and that's the best way I'm going to explain that. And let's take a look at a hard drive. Okay, what a hard drive does. They're literally using magnetics to bring information and imprint it on the film that's in a hard drive that holds the memory. And then it's using magnetics to pull that information out. Now, theoretically, where I come from, the school thought I come from, is that electromagnetic fields are not ghosts. Just to clarify that overall, people
Mhm.
in the chat, they're not ghosts. What I feel it is, it's something that induces a paranormal experience more than that it's in a single ghost. And let's just theorize that the ghosts are maybe a memory of the past, as I've said before. And let's just say that there is something with EMF fields. Maybe the EMF fields are pulling that memory out from the universal ether, and then that's where we have a paranormal experience. Even our brains are
Yeah.
working on electromagnetic spectrum, and I'm sure to some extent, putting memory and retrieving memory is very similar to what the hard drive does in your computer. Literally using magnets to pull and imprint that memory on there. Literally imprint memory, and it puts it in a binary code. So imagine what that's doing with all of a universal memory of existence, or and why those things happen is a totally different discussion, because we can talk about that all night. We're not going to be totally certain, but there's something to it.
Yeah.
Everything else, though, is up for questioning. Maybe audio and photographic. There's something to that too, because we're still dealing with electromagnetic fields and the light spectrum. And
Mhm.
within the light spectrum, as we understand now, we can imprint information on photons. But literally, quantum bit computers are using photons to transmit information. So imagine now, every time light's touching us, we're literally saving information from whatever that light touches into the fabric of reality. And thus, now let's say we have a memory of a traumatic experience, and then it gets pulled for whatever reason by electromagnetic frequencies. You pull out your meter. If you're having high frequencies, maybe there is a possibility it's going to pull a memory from the ether for whatever reason in that particular area. And that's why we may have something correlating with paranormal experiences. And something that furthers that for me, I was doing a case which I dubbed the doctor house. It was the dentist house, which was a long time ago. And they kept saying, oh, in this area, we see this woman pass and walk by in this particular area in the basement. And I'm like, that's interesting. I bring my EMF reader out, go throughout the house, try to see a baseline. Once we get to this area, I have high EMF frequencies. Okay, what's causing that? I open this little shack door in the basement, and there's an unshielded electrical box.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Cover on it, just the wires out, and in that area, like they said, literally right in front of that door, they were saying they saw a woman walking past there. And I go, there's a possibility that these frequencies that are within this area is causing some of this experience. And I've seen tons of information out there that suggests the same thing. Even a couple of TV episodes, from sightings to other paranormal programs, they have mentioned things relating to power lines. And I always wondered, how much does that correlate with other people having paranormal experiences? And they went around with their EMF readers and found out, hey, you have a lot of electromagnetic radiation coming from here. And they were claiming poltergeist activity.
Yeah.
Even within the realm of what electromagnetic radiation does to people, they even have noted that it may cause people to see shadow figures. Okay. Now, again, what I'm saying is not that DMF frequencies are necessarily making people hallucinate. That might be part of it, but maybe, just maybe, these experiences are induced by those. So most definitely, on a more scientific and a realized basis, I do kind of go with the EMF the EMF tools to kind of collaborate or correlate with paranormal experiences. Everything else, I haven't had much, from EVPs to, whatnot. And I do feel EVPs kind of go with that particular spectrum too. But when it came to EMFs, I most definitely had a lot of things that correlate with that. But the long story of that is, and the short story of that, I should say, is that we really don't understand that. And now you have people out there who form, you know, Northern Hemisphere Paranormal Research Society,
Yeah.
and it's Becky and Jonathan from Walmart who formed this group, and they're getting paranormal equipment off Ghost Pros, which I believe is a real website if I remember correctly, who sell these things for expensive, and they don't know nothing about it. Now I don't remember everything and what ranges certain things happen through milligauss ranges and all that, but a basic understanding of what EMFs are and whatnot would really help
Well, yeah,
field than anything, and you rarely
exactly.
see that type of stuff at all. Any type of education on that?
There isn't any.
No, there isn't.
Somebody buys an EMF detector or a ghost detector, whatever else. They don't know how to read it other than, oh my God, it's spiking.
Yeah. Or in the case of them using the K2 to communicate with ghosts, the logic doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't.
Well, the logic is that they most likely have another device sitting there right beside it.
Yeah. Or I think I mentioned this particular scenario before too. When I did the Lake County Jail in Indiana,
Yeah.
back in October or September, I forget when. We were in a jail cell, and I was picking up readings from the jail bars, and I'm like, that's interesting. So imagine what's being picked up throughout the jail could be within the metal itself, and people are thinking, oh, there's there's something going on here and whatnot. And then I noticed from the different, and I carry different meters. Okay, I don't have the same brand. I carried multiple different meters. I see what they show me. Some work better than others. Others pick up different levels of frequency. And there was a case with the K2 meter and another particular brand. And they were picking up all this information. I bring my meters over. Nothing's being picked up. And I'm like, that's odd. So what's causing these meters to work differently than my meters, or what's causing this area to pick up more radiation than what my meters are doing? And that one within itself is part of the paranormal research, the paranormal experiment. No one in that whole group that was with me, even though we're all different people, some who have their YouTube channels and whatnot, and here I am, say the same things I say, and I don't go about those things like that. They didn't question any of that. It's just, oh yeah, well we experience, blah, this is ghosts and this is how ghosts react, and just everyone agreeing, no one questioning, no one actually doing any actual research or experiments, just straight up.
There is no research anymore. I don't think there is.
No.
I find it very, very rare now that a lot of these people actually do any research. It's just that they go in and the research is, I'm bringing a camera in and I'm recording it all. And for my YouTube or social media sort of outlet, whatever. And 99.9% of it is all clickbait.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. It's how many likes and shares can I get? Oh, now I have so many subscribers. It doesn't matter that my evidence is made up. It gets people to my channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's sad. It's just a popularity contest. And although, I dealt with that my, 2.5 decades into this, but it wasn't like it is now, where literally any Joe Schmo can start a YouTube channel, edit the videos a certain way, or do whatever. And the majority of the audience are, teenagers really, who are just gulping this up and whatnot and just enjoying the entertainment of it. And every channel is geared to that entertain. It's a spooky area, and here's this, and here's the spirit box that's going.
Oh wait, it said Bob. That meant me.
Yeah, that's got to be me. Oh, Jay, who's Jay around here? Oh, that's my uncle. James. It's not, and then people just eat it up, and that's been a huge problem within the community overall, but more so now than ever. Almost, you go to TikTok or even these YouTube reels, and it's nothing but let's go to a cemetery with the spirit box now. No further things. You can have a 1-minute clip, and that has hundreds of thousands of views. And it's just unbelievable what they're getting away with now. And it's become lazy. It really has become lazy compared to where my old age, even though you guys are older, going to the library, getting books, and kind of going through the history of a place and whatnot, and
Finding out the history. Yeah, exactly.
and that's
I mean,
research. We ain't got time for research.
yeah,
I mean, grant you, there are people that like to have that mysterious approach, and people don't want to know anything about the location until after the fact. I get that. I
yeah,
mean, that's an approach too. But yeah, I mean, but the thing is, they end up doing a little bit of research after to see if whatever they get kind of correlates with the history,
yeah.
right? So that makes sense too in itself. But Barry mentions those Spirit Box smartphone apps are all bullshit. You know what? I think all those apps are bullshit.
Yeah.
Any app,
Every single one of them.
fuck you. If you're using this as your fucking tool for the investigating the paranormal, you're lost.
The only thing you should be doing mostly with that phone is video and
Yeah.
digital audio recording, if anything. Video photography and whatnot. And even then, you have to understand what's going on, because that camera on your phone is going to pick up all sorts of things.
Well,
And,
yeah. Look.
No! Ah!
Look. My camera is look. My camera
It's fluctuating. That's got to be a ghost. That's got to be a ghost, right?
Look at my mic. Look at my mic. Oh my god.
Oh, that's haunted. Get away from that, man. That's demonic right there.
My mic is haunted.
That's because your mouth's wrapped around it too many times.
Literally for the
sorry, man. Sorry, I'm craving a big fat burrito.
I know.
It's all about the burrito. But for like the 20 years that I've been investigating, my only stagnant things that I always bring: camera and a recorder.
Yeah.
Sure, sometimes you can take the temperature gauge, but that depends on your environment.
Yeah.
Right? EMF, I gave up with that a long time ago.
It is a hit and miss for me. It really is.
You see, EMF I like because I essentially like it because I like it for what it's made to detect.
Right.
And that being those signals that are unseen, like carbon monoxide, because like Justin mentioned earlier, I mean, they do affect people. They really do. And
I've had a personal experience with like Justin was talking about, an unshielded fuse box.
Yeah.
I remember it was the last investigation the Shadows Project ever did.
Mm-hmm.
It was a home investigation where people were saying in the living room they saw shadow figures, etc. Blah 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 blah. I have never encountered EMF so bad that standing in front of that fuse box, I wanted to barf.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You get sick.
Just that strong. Yes, wholeheartedly. It was just that strong. Step away, felt fine. Step back in front of it, nauseous again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it affects people, and again, it all depends on, are you getting a weak signal, but you're exposed to it for a long period of time, or you're getting these big bursts in short periods of time. I mean, whatever, it affects you. It will affect you, man, and a lot of people don't realize that. It's something I think that we really need to, just like carbon monoxide, really need to be aware of, because I mean, you saw with my mic, like my phone. I mean, if I was to get an actual detector, I'm sure it probably detected it going off the chart because this is live.
Yeah.
So anything live is going to set those detectors off like there's no tomorrow.
I don't know if it's a condenser mic. You actually have to throw voltage in it to literally power it up.
Yeah.
Seriously. So it's not just receiving. You're actually putting it powering up. I have to hit a little phantom power button on my mixer here to just get this thing to go. So not only are you doing that, right now, I'm getting EMF radiation from this thing.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of mics, I think you boys will be proud. I finally hooked it up.
Oh, finally.
That looks familiar, Gord.
I finally hooked it up.
Finally.
How come it's not coming through on the mic, though?
What do you mean?
You sound kind of echoey. Are you sure?
I literally haven't played with it yet. I literally plugged it in just in time for the show. Like, does this fucking thing work? Okay, it works. It's change. Okay, done.
I think your audio settings are not.
It's
are
to
not
the
set to the
webcam
mic.
still.
That could be. I don't know. I'll play with it.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of echoing on your end, so I'm pretty sure it's your webcam.
Hold on.
Yeah, you would have to go in your audio settings to say stop.
No, it says USB device.
Interesting.
I just might not have it set up right. Like, I literally just plugged it in, went through the options. Yep, there it is. Go.
Plug in and go.
Tap the mic. Tap the mic.
Oh,
yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, it's working.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe because he's not swallowing it.
Oh, that was for you, Alex. Oh. How's that for a burrito?
Hey, I walk.
Wait, how about now? Is it better now?
You have to play with the settings because it does sound a bit echoey.
Okay.
Or put it kind of in front of you, maybe. See if that changes anything.
How about now? Are we doing
wow,
good now?
better.
There's a
that's
difference.
a lot.
Yeah,
That's my first day.
you got the sexier now.
Oh, good. Okay, I'm ready. Do this.
We got to get all that sound in this.
Yeah, I got to get it all. Love it. But no, I've seen, like, watching TV shows, I'm sure we can agree. Every now and then we stumble across some paranormal team that's got some whacked out devices.
Yeah.
You know, the ones where they're combining the speech box with an EMF detector and a Swiss Army knife and, all of that. You know, and they walk through and they're, just, I forget the name, the one that calls out just random words. Not the spirit box that scans all the FM frequencies, but the other one.
With the fucking REM pod. Or
you're just walking. You know what? The REM pod baffles me.
I know.
Let's talk about that as a group for a minute. I have a hard time disproving the REM pod. Because the camera is always, and again, it's TV, I understand. That's why I want your thoughts on this. The camera's always facing the REM pod, and there's no one near it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it possible maybe it's a remote thing off to the side, or do we feel that these things might actually have some form of plausibility?
I don't know. Like, again, like a lot of things, there's ways of manipulating it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. There could be a guy off at the side with the remotes, but with TV, anything's possible, right?
Right,
of course.
I mean, the only way that you're going to actually, I think, maybe, I don't want to say believe it or buy into it, is to bring one out and test it out yourself.
Yeah. Of course.
You know? There's a lot of neat sort of intriguing devices, but I don't know if I'd want to use them as my sole sort of purpose and saying, oh, look, I got proof of the paranormal. Right. It's like, it's like, I was about to call this episode putting the porn back into the paranormal part 3.
Yes.
Bringing the porn.
Yeah.
There's not enough ghost porn.
Putting the porn back into the paranormal part 3.
There's a new device that they launched not too long ago. It's the ghost vibrating cock ring.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Go on. All right. Yes. All right.
When you get close to a ghost, it just vibrates, and that's how you know you're the pointer, basically.
Okay, where do I get these? I need 5 of them.
Oh,
one for every day of the week.
Yeah, I just got the regular rubber cock.
Oh, there's one. Get back here, Casper.
Just make sure there's no short.
Ooh, that's not funny. What's wrong with you?
Some people might enjoy that short.
Yeah, actually, that's true. There are people out there who love that crap.
Yeah. Settle down, Alex.
No, the REM pod is interesting because that if we're using it in a sense of pumping EMFs, there is a theory then that maybe that would induce paranormal experiences, or we're seeing people get sick, or we're seeing people having stuff like that. That's what we should be seeing with the REM pod, if anything. The idea should be there that you are trying to, charge an area, so to say, to to see if paranormal experiences happen. I've always found that interesting. I've never experienced it. I'm sure it wouldn't be hard to manipulate, like Steve said, but to create one, I mean, you just need a transformer or a solenoid, something enough to just send out some EMF frequencies. You wouldn't need to buy that thing. But then again, everything is a REM pod essentially. These lights, your computer,
Right.
everything. I just don't know what the frequencies they run off of, but that is something that may be an actual tool when it comes to this, but if used right, of course.
Right.
And that's the problem. A lot of people look at it and it's like they're feeding the ghosts. It's in a sense, it's like, but even then, you have to understand what's a ghost doing then. And does a ghost know that it's like I require energy from electromagnetic?
Well, yeah, I mean there it is right there. I mean that harkens back to one of the most common theories that these ghosts, if you will, these entities, these spiritual sort of beings, whatever, need some energy to feed off, to manifest or communicate or whatever else. And perhaps this particular REM pod is giving just that jolt it needs, a lot more than say a human would, because I mean a lot of people say they feed off human energy, right? I mean they're able
Yeah.
to use human energy.
Which
So
Which, if it is EMFs, and let's say they are, somehow manipulating EMFs, for consciously or whatever, it is possible that people could be feeling like their energy drained because EMFs are making people sick and they're making people tired and stuff like that. So there could be a correlation, but then again, you have to understand what's happening when EMF radiation is affecting people. You can't just jump to, again, oh, the ghost is doing it, or me. You got to be like,
but that's the thing,
yeah,
people do that,
yeah,
and
the
like
ghost.
like I said, that's where the clickbait comes into play. Oh, look, I got actual proof.
Yeah,
This happened last night. This just happened.
yeah,
That's all you got to put in your title. This just happened.
yeah. And another one that's not necessarily popular, but I'm starting to see it more, is like doing stuff with white noise and stuff that they've been slowly introducing, is like the God helmet experiments or the
Yep.
field experiment and stuff like that. And I believe there's a place for that in the research, but again, it's like something they're saying is like charging the ghost. But when you look at it, when you actually look at what it's doing, it's really, in a sense, putting you in a mental state. And
Yeah.
that's what we don't really look at when we're dealing with these paranormal experiences, is what exactly is happening when we're perceiving these things. And you need to be in a mental state. So I'm assuming when people are seeing this, it's not anything had to do with the paranormal, or in a sense, maybe, just maybe, it's just and now you're throwing white noise into the mix, which, what do people use white noise for? Meditation and
Yep.
relaxation and all these different things. It has nothing to do, in a sense, with clouding the mind or anything. Like, these frequencies in themselves will put you into a mental state for whatever you want to accomplish in that sense. So maybe, just in case we're doing these things, maybe it's us that is perceiving these things, then going, oh man, we're doing. I've seen it more and more now on TikTok. Now they're going back to, like, I think it's the Enfield experiment that I'm starting to see more.
Yeah.
But literally, what you're doing is putting yourself into a mental state more than experiencing something paranormal in that sense. Maybe there is a correlation with all that, but the thing is that we first, again, got to understand what's going on with us physically, what's going on with us mentally, and both that and any frequencies affecting us in both those ways. And that's the key to that. It's both affecting us physically and mentally. Now, is there anything with ghosts involved? We don't know, but we
Well,
do
yeah.
know that there is something going on physically and mentally with us. And we see
Exactly.
this research that we can go back to and correlate it with.
Okay, hold that. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, more of this with Dr. Demon Gord. Justin Bell Rio. You're listening to Nocturnal Frequency Radio on the New Visions Radio Network, and of course, simulcasting here on YouTube, and of course, our Twitch channel. Hey, Safari, how are you? Hold tight. We'll be right back, folks.
I'm Richard Palmisano, the founder of the Searcher Group. It's a paranormal company, the oldest in Canada. I founded it in 1979, which not only makes me old, but makes me doing paranormal research and field work for just under 45 years now. I am also an author, researcher, and lecturer on the paranormal. I've written 6 books now. And I really enjoy coming on with Steve and Alex on Nocturnal Frequency Radio, as well as listening to the shows, because there's a lot of interesting guests there. I like it, looking at this stuff, because it opens your mind to other options and other alternative thoughts. There's always time to learn new things. So I hope you join us and come and see Nocturnal Frequency Radio. Thank you.
So let me ask you, what makes for good radio?
My 5 favorite songs all day long.
Play it again.
No.
As many commercials as physically possible.
What? No, why would that be good?
Great music, great talk shows, no commercials.
Precisely. New Visions Radio gives you no commercials, no nonsense, just the best new music and the best talk all day long, 24/7, 365. NewVisionsRadio.com.
Hey guys, Kristen here, host of the Paranormal Girl podcast, a bingeable exploration and deep dive education about the paranormal for the skeptical believer. Some of my past season topics have included shadow people, Mandela effect, demons, and UFOs. Currently, I am tackling Bigfoot. I have been sharing this journey with my audience since early 2021, and I have learned a lot these last few years. It's truly a mysterious world out there beyond our perceptions, and reality is just not what it seems. I have also, since the start, met some awesome folks like Alex and Steve, and I've really enjoyed watching and learning from them and also joining them on their show. Their guests are always outstanding, their listeners are just the coolest, and these hosts are some of my favorite people. I recommend their show to anyone looking for an intelligent and fun conversation about the paranormal amongst friends. So join me on my investigation, join Steve and Alex on theirs, and enjoy. Now back to the show. You are watching Nocturnal Frequency Radio.
And we're back. We're back.
I brought back taquitos. I don't have enough for everybody, though.
Son of a, you tease.
Taquitos.
Homemade.
I gotta say, Steve, thank you very much, sir.
Oh, you.
Oh, wow.
You just broke that open tonight?
I was saving it for a special occasion.
Holy shit. So how is it?
Oh, my God. There's a reason I'm sitting down. The audience doesn't want to see that.
Well, what is it? It's 18, right?
20.
20, that's right.
But it does not taste like it at all.
You don't taste it.
Not at all. It's fantastic. Cheers, sir.
It's
look, Star Wars.
I love that cup. There you go. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey.
I had to get a refill myself.
Come on, Alex. There we go. Hey. It's drinking out of a mason jar. All right, cool.
There's no reason. Yeah, there's no reason. And one of the reasons why, because it's aged a bit, which is even better, man.
Yeah, it's so good.
It fermented those.
All right, so I got a question for everyone. We can have a group discussion.
Oh, yeah.
So we've all been investigating the paranormal for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
So for a beginner listening, what would you say are your top, if you can go that high, top 5 pieces of equipment that you must have on every investigation? Justin, why don't you go first?
All right. Video camera, EMF reader, digital recorder, a Geiger counter, which I found very interesting and useful lately, and pencil and paper. I mean, literally taking notes and, finding down the readings and what correlates with certain areas and whatnot is great for memory and for actual research. So, make sure you have those things. And that's kind of all you need, literally. Yeah.
Right on, right on. Steve?
My eyes, my nose, my ears, my hands,
and my toes.
My senses, dude. My senses. No, I like I would say video, but video is really never that. I love documenting everything, but I think audio is probably my favorite. I like my H2 and H4 recorders. And I do like whatchamacallit, full spectrum as well. I love full spectrum cameras. I really do. If I had the choice, I would, if I had one, I'd probably even like a really good thermal camera too. But
Yeah,
that would be nice.
Yeah, a good thermal camera. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at a few options, but yeah, I think that's it for me, really, and a recorder. Good, I said recorder, so yeah.
Alex, what you got?
Just
That's
a
my
recorder.
boy. That's beautiful.
He's just
a
what?
recorder. That's a recorder, and your openness.
Yep.
Your
Yeah,
mental
your
openness to the possibility. As much as Steve and I and you guys have criticized in the past with regards to quote unquote evidence, when you go out to a paranormal investigation, you have to be critical, but you also have to be open minded. You can't have a
absolutely.
successful investigation if you go in it closed minded.
So what's your
Agreed.
fucking excuse then, man?
Yeah, Siri, ghost repellent.
I'm a
ghost
repellent.
The ghost deterrent.
Calling them out.
Yeah.
Ah, shit, Alex is here. I'm not hunting. You hunting? No way, Alex is here. Fuck that.
His open mind is awfully closed though if you give him a big fat burrito.
Yeah.
Fuck
It's
you,
all about the
get away from
fat
me.
burrito, the choice of
It won't be my mind only that'll be open if I have a burrito that night.
There'll be some nostrils opening and
Yeah.
Your senses will be going wild for sure, man.
Oh fuck! Why do I smell sulfur? I don't know.
Sulfur.
It's a demon. It's a demon.
My stomach.
It's proof. It's proof. This place is demonic.
Yeah, exactly.
Get quick. Get the sage out.
Oh God, not the sage.
The sage.
I was thinking about. I was thinking about what we were talking about earlier, as far as all this other stuff like white noise and Justin, when you were saying it puts you in an altered state and what have you.
Mhm.
I think, and this is obviously easier said than done, but if you have someone who claims that they experience the paranormal on a semi-regular basis, one way to find out with regards to altered states is having them hooked up to an EEG machine.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
And just sort of, and
Yes.
hope that, I mean, obviously, because unless they experience the paranormal 24/7, it's going to be a crapshoot, really. But if you happen to have them hooked up to an EEG machine and they experience the paranormal, at least you can sort of gauge if there's any sort of weird activity going on with the individual's brain.
Of course, that's actually a good point, because there is a missing part. We're not detecting ourselves when it comes to these things at all.
Yeah.
And I would kind of became more aligned with that when I was doing the Blog Talk show, when I had a listener get a hold of me who, quote unquote, was doing research with brainwave frequencies. And he was doing the research on different altered states, and he would see where we were operating at. And he also was a Wiccan. And he's like, he told me, I'm a Wiccan and that I love the philosophy, but I don't believe in what Wiccan is, like the spirits and everything. And he just enjoyed the rituals and stuff, which is a whole different discussion in itself, and understanding those things. But he was doing research in Tennessee, at the University of Tennessee, and he started noticing that when we're having certain spiritual experiences, I should say, not paranormal, spiritual experiences, we were operating at different frequencies here. And he considered that certain ESP experiments, that he was able to calculate these things and see where we were totally at. And I think there's something missing there, where we should have that. We should literally have every tool that we can to bring to the the case or anything. It shouldn't be limited to the EMF reader. It shouldn't be limited to the Geiger counter. We really should have everything that we could possibly can that detects any physical changes at all, because that's what we're trying to find. Is what's being altered that's making this experience happen. But I totally agree. EEG is a huge thing that we should be doing because we don't have enough study here.
No,
We
that's
do.
right.
I mean, we do when it comes to academics. All right, and we do when it comes to uh, how do I put this, when it comes to rituals, okay, without getting too in depth and trying to single out any particular
Mhm.
belief, because everything when it comes to rituals or parapsychology, it's all with the mind. There's a reason why there's no single ghost hunting course. There's a parapsychology course, and if you follow anything that's legitimately parapsychology, it has nothing to do with EMF readers at all. It's all about psychic experiences. And yeah, there's some cases there that will have, EMFs, actual paranormal researchers that come from parapsychological uh, um, departments, which is actually very rare. Even within the United States, I think there's only one legitimate university that has parapsychology, and one of them was actually one of the founders came from here in Chicago, J.B. Ryan, and he was a botanist. Believe it or not, he started off in botany and then moved his way into parapsychology when he started doing certain tests and whatnot. But they found out with this that there was a lot more going on with psychic experiences. And even though I'm talking about EMFs and all this, I do believe, and I'm sure people have heard it if they listen to me rant on and off the show for the last decade plus, there's something going on here more than going on in this physical realm that I can actually say is true, that I will align with that. Most of the experiences are psychic in nature than actually physical. This is why we don't have any physical recordings of anything that are legitimate. But we do have a lot of psychic stuff that we can find that even the government was actually doing research on. And if the government can't say there's ghosts, and there's no actual papers that say ghosts exist, but there's actually evidence that, look how nice that is. And tomorrow's supposed to be in the 30s. I can't wait.
No,
That's not
Buffalo
the game.
lost.
The
Buffalo
game between
lost.
KC and KC won.
Oh, that's I thought that was temperatures.
Oh, Buffalo lost.
Yeah.
The curse
Yeah, no,
continues.
it's well, I mean, if we're talking about and this is a scenario where if you're talking about multi-layered universes resonating at different frequencies, our brains have to be tuned to only perceive the physical reality that's our frequency, or the frequency that's our physical reality. If it wasn't tuned to that, and it was just sort of like a broad receiver,
Mm-hmm.
we'd be going off the handle. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, this is why for so many years I've questioned people who have been labeled as what's the polite way of saying it? Mentally unstable.
Yes.
I've questioned whether it's really them being mentally unstable, and in not all cases, mind you.
Of
And
course.
let me be clear. But in some cases where people claim to hear voices, see things that other people don't see, um, is it a scenario where their brain is somehow not able to just sort of fine tune only to
Yeah.
our frequency, and is having bleed through from all these different levels of frequencies coming in
Yeah.
and causing them basically to well, for lack of a better term, lose it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because they don't know what's going on. Other people are telling them, well, you're just imagining it. I don't hear it. I don't see it. You must be going off whatever. And what are they to expect? Imagine you in that scenario. If you start hearing things that other people say they don't hear, or seeing things that other people don't see, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's quite easy for someone in that scenario to just sort of lose it, because
Yeah.
they're like, well, what the fuck, right?
Yeah. No, there's a fine line with that. I actually had someone recently tell me they're experiencing shadow people, and it's very it's it's very hard to kind of draw a definitive line without offending them. And everything that they were telling me that they were experiencing was like, wait a minute, are you talking about shadow people? They didn't say it themselves, but as soon as I said it, they're like, that's exactly it. And I was like, wow, as much as, I'm listening to your story and everything that you explained to me, you have to understand there is some psychological aspects to why you would see that. And
Mhm.
they didn't necessarily want to believe me at first. And they actually, I'm not crazy. I'm like, I'm not saying that. But there's some things you should take into consideration. They were having lack of sleep. Okay. They've been stressed. And in a lot of cases I've had, it comes down to being stressed. I remember a woman telling me she's seeing shadow people, seeing shadow people, uh, and she gave me her whole weekly schedule. She's working. She was owning some business. I think it was not that it matters to people out here, but it was at Crystal Lake or Cary, Illinois, and she had a business, and she was working like almost 100 hours a week, to keep this business going and whatnot. She's, I'm so stressed. I'm experiencing this, and I was like, you need to take it easy. Another woman, she was going through some relationship issues. She actually had brain surgery. The brain surgery, after the healing, she started experiencing more and more paranormal experiences. Now, I'm not saying that that stuff is all in the head. I'm also suggesting that maybe some of those things kind of break those barriers down for us, like kind of what you're saying, Alex. You have all these frequencies coming in, and maybe there's something that just kind of knocks us off, that kind of just lets all this come in as we're receiving it. Now, there could be a total, on the flip side of that, there could be totally things all made up, and it's just in our head. But a lot of correlation to mental states goes along with paranormal experiences. Even myself, I've noticed I've had experiences coming in and out of sleep. I've had experiences when I've been really stressed out, and more or less lack of sleep. And this person that told me this recently not had all of that, including drug abuse. Okay,
Yeah.
and certain drugs will keep you up. All right, and maybe those things will have you do a certain psychosis. And I just kind of pointed them out, like, how long you been doing this? How long has this been going on? And it just happens to correlate with their shadow experiences, which is not an everyday experience, but it still is happening to them. And it was hard for me to not make them sound like they're crazy. And they were talking about that they were thinking about going to their therapist. I'm like, you should. But at the same time, I told them you should refrain certain things. You should, really think about what's going on with you, and think about the things that you told me. Do you want to tell your therapist this? Because they might come, and I'm not a therapist. I've taken psychology, both in high school and in college. I'm not a psychologist or anything, but the information that I gathered from there has helped me kind of see things and decipher certain mind states and stuff, certain stressors and whatnot when it comes to these things in everyday life. Meditation for me is a huge thing, even though I don't do it as much as I used to. But it has helped me when dealing with a lot of stuff. And I said, you should take it easy. And maybe you should lay off. As much as I like to indulge in things, I'm like, you should lay off a little bit, with your inebriants, and try to get some sleep and see if these things changes before you go off and start telling your therapist that you're seeing shadow people, because right away those things open a can of worms for certain people. And of course, me giving that information is very walking on a thin line too, because I'm trying to offer them advice, but at the same time, I'm not a therapist or anything, and they should be taking what I say with a grain of salt. But at the same time,
I saw my voodoo doctor.
yeah, some of them are like that.
Yeah, I know.
I've realized that some of them are like that, though. A lot of my experiences with the spiritualist movement and the spiritualist group, they're ex-therapists.
Mhm.
There's a reason for that. Okay, not saying there's
They want to break away from the constrictions
yeah.
and the barriers, the walls that they're the rules and regulations, and they just don't want to deal with that shit. And just like a lot of people, they just want to act freely. They want to be able to practice freely, and even if it means going against everything that they were taught in,
And calling yourself a Reiki master.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean,
There's
Justin,
some overlap.
the key though is the mind, is the brain,
Yes.
and the brain waves. And I wholeheartedly do believe that, when they say we only use a certain percentage of our brain, that that portion of the brain that we don't use, it's meant for something. It really is. And again, like man, not wanting to go to space and not really exploring the ocean. And we've only explored 20% of the ocean, I think,
Correct.
something like that, not
Which is
even
pretty
that.
scary. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much the same with the brain. I mean, we've mapped the brain out, but we don't know the full function
No.
of what's really going on. And I mean, there's two experiences I've had, personal experiences that I have had, that have made me fucking wonder, okay, what is really going on here? Number one is, are we really fucking, are our senses the end all be all? Are we actually seeing and experiencing what is really going on? Or is this just a facade? Is this just a facade, and not really happening? I mean, I remember waking up one morning, and I'm just lying in bed, and all of a sudden I was overcome with the smell of flowers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what the fuck? There's no air fresheners. The windows closed. I don't get it. What's going on? What's going on? I don't understand. And then for some odd reason, I was thinking about my grandmother and what her favorite flower was, the rose. And I'm like, this is what I'm smelling. I'm smelling overwhelming scent of roses. And I didn't understand. It didn't make any sense. Why is there roses? There's no roses here. It doesn't make sense. Is my mind telling me something? Is there a problem? It's like, okay, when you have a fucking a stroke, or about to have a stroke, you smell burning toast or
Yeah. Stuff
whatever
like
else.
Yeah.
The wires are crossed. Why roses?
Yeah.
It made no sense. There was nothing in the room that would equate to why I'm smelling. It was overwhelming. And then there was one other time. Now, I I, I don't I kind of believe I was conscious. I could have been semi-conscious, but again, I'm lying in bed, and to to me, I felt like I was conscious. I was awake, and it was at night, and all I saw was this figure, sort of just going like this across the wall at the base of my bed, and coming to my side. And my hand was overhanging the bed, outside the covers, the blankets. And this figure just comes over to my side of the bed, and it reached out and grabbed my hand, and all of a sudden I felt nothing but warmth.
Wow.
It was the weirdest experience I've ever fucking had in my life. But was I just totally, still in a dream state? But I did not feel like I was in a dream state. I felt like I was fully conscious during this experience. Now, Alex, we talk about, astral projection, and we talk about lucid dreaming. I mean, do you think that it could equate to something like that?
It's possible. It's possible you were actually in an altered state and you were actually asleep but conscious and out of your own physical body,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
maybe not outside your physical body, but your physical body was asleep, but your conscious astral body was awake and fully aware.
And I was actually conscious during the sort of arrival of maybe my spirit coming back to my body. Maybe I don't know. It was the weirdest experience I've ever had, and I think I told you about that, Alex.
No, it's the first time I'm hearing it.
Oh, really?
Or maybe it's just I'm not remembering. I mean, you may have told me years ago, and I just don't remember it. But
yeah, the weirdest fucking thing. I just simply it's one of those things you really can't fully explain. It's something that you
yeah, there's a lot of weird things that occur that most people who have no belief in the paranormal or anything like that will just brush off as whatever. I was dreaming.
I was just dreaming, yeah.
You know, or whatever. They'll just chalk it off as some fanciful imagination part. But for people like us who don't necessarily, believe everything within the paranormal, but however, we're invested in the paranormal in the sense of, okay, we know I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that all four of us are in a similar scenario where we may not necessarily believe everyone's story.
Yeah.
However, we all fully realize that there's something that's going on that we cannot explain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Exactly.
mainstream science can't explain, philosophers can't explain, just academia in general can't explain. Right?
Well, I mean, there's one thing for certain, and is that there is a realm that we call the paranormal, the unknown, that in our current understanding can't explain. Science can't explain. Science can give you theories, but it can't explain. And that doesn't mean that down the road science will eventually explain certain parts of this. Therefore, it becomes a reality, I guess, if you will. And that in itself, it kind of makes me weary when I say that, because science says it's true, it becomes a reality. I don't know if I fully believe that. I don't know, yeah, I do believe, there's a lot that science can explain, and, hey, look at through research and peer review research and all experiments, whatever. Science has explained a lot of things, has shown us a lot of things that we had no clue, like germs and carbon monoxide, shit that we've never seen before, that we had no clue about. And science was able to break those barriers and explain to us what those things are. But again, and I've said this a million times, science isn't the end all be all. It's fallible. It's man-made. It's just like religion. It's man-made. It's fallible. It doesn't mean it's exact, exact science, if you will. It's not exactly true. But
hold on.
Yes.
Science, you have to conduct experiments to back up your theories. You write these experimental data down, and other scientists can recreate it. Therefore, that's a solid base to go off of. Whereas in the paranormal, let's face it, 99.9% of it is just stories. There's no valuable evidence, and there's no way to recreate it.
That's the problem.
Well, that's the thing, the recreation. That's why you have a lot of people going, "Oh, look, I have proof of the paranormal," because they can't recreate it.
And that's the point. And they say, well, science is no, science is good, because we have to figure out how to prove what we're saying, or we have to launch it as a theory and be prepared to be torn apart by other scientists going, your theory is ludicrous. But we have to come up with experiments to prove whatever validation we are looking for. So in this case, we're talking paranormal. So I'm Dr. Demon Gord, and I go, guys, I have the mathematical formula to prove demons are real. Here's my paper. You will then take that paper and you will tear it apart left, right, and center, because that's the type of investigators we all are. We want the proof.
Yeah.
If you cannot recreate what I have recreated on paper, my theory is just going to be mocked and thrown in the garbage.
Mhm.
And it's the same with 99% of these people. I've seen a ghost. I've seen a demon. I've seen this. I've seen that. Where's your validation? Well, I don't have any. I just told you a story and it's fact. No, at best, it's a theory. At best, you have to be able to validate. So, yes, to me, and I get what you're saying with the brain. I do understand that. There's so much about the brain we don't understand.
Mhm.
But we're using that as a crutch right now in the paranormal.
I don't know if we're using it as a crutch. I think a lot of what's going on in the paranormal is just pure bullshit, to be honest. It's not even.
Well, that was the direction I was headed. I just didn't want to go that far.
No, I think we have to.
We're too influenced by television, and that's where we started with the paranormal equipment. People are running out to buy these pieces of equipment that, people like Zach Bagans and the Taps guys are back now, and whoever else. I can't watch
the witch
any
guys are
of
back.
it.
I just watched the
The
Lion King.
Taps guys.
Zach Bagans documentary on the Lion King, or not the Lion King. What's his face? Yeah. Oh my god, I can't even believe I forget the
See,
name of
that told you something right there, buddy.
Yeah, the whole thing was forgettable. I just laughed throughout the whole thing. I think I even fell asleep towards the end.
I think the biggest
There's other people that worship them.
The Tiger King. There you go.
The biggest
Right.
problem that we face is that with regards to science and the scientific community is that because this stuff is not recreatable on demand. I mean, at one point they did seriously take this sort of field as serious, and they tried to
Well, yeah.
come up with, like what's happening. They try to come up with a theory. They try to come up with something that's going on, and they couldn't. Therefore, they just sort of dropped and saying this is full of shit.
Yeah.
Paranormal experiences, whether it be seeing a ghost, hearing voices, dealing with a demon, Gord's favorite subject, it's all personal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
I
And
agree.
because it's all personal, you cannot recreate it for someone else to see it.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, don't kid yourself and thinking that science is not still looking into the paranormal and
No,
trying
they
to
probably
explain
are
it.
to some extent.
Oh, they are. They are
Also
constant.
valid, to be honest with you, because even as much as
Your mic's
we
kind of
have
low
some
there, Justin.
hard science, a lot of science even this day and age is very biased because of funding and whatnot. And we actually have a lot of theories and research that now they have gone back and changed in the past 100 years on what they thought it was, which is what science is supposed to be,
Yeah.
let alone. But keep that in mind, though. It may have taken 100 years for us to give us this understanding and then put it in textbooks. And then now it's out of textbooks. Take, for instance, our astronomy with Pluto. All
Mhm.
right. It's a planet and it's not a planet now. And that's scientific community there. And they're literally fighting over that. And then even further, we go even down to the spectrum of reality in the subatomic world. We are legitimately saying we don't know what the hell's going on there. And then you go, wait a minute, that's the basis of reality. But yet we don't know what's going on there, So we only could take so much as a grain of salt, even if it is hard science.
Yeah.
Besides the fact that I slap and I'm gonna get there are things that we can say that are true, but there is a lot of maybe little, but there's still a gray area of things that are just kind of surface level when it comes to our understanding of the world, even with our
Well,
science.
look at it this way, guys. I mean, you look at the paranormal field 125 years ago
Mhm.
and look at it now. Very little of it has changed.
Yeah.
Very little.
Oh,
The same questions are still being asked that were asked 125 years ago. Right? I mean, sure, there's been some fine tuning with certain things. The technology has changed. The parlor tricks are still there. They're just
Yep.
more, gadget friendly,
Yeah.
and oh my God, now they have lights where before I was just bending spoons.
Yeah.
Fuck. But I go ahead.
Ideally, it's changed because if you
Ideally, yes.
100 and some years ago, when we had Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Houdini, and even before that, all these guys, literature, scientific community who were studying it, they were finding out that the majority of cases they were investigating were fake.
Yeah. Well,
right?
yeah.
And we had barely any of the tools we have now. Some of the stuff that we have now came from their research,
Mm-hmm.
but the majority of the cases that they had were fake. The only thing that's changed now is almost everything is believable. That's what I've seen now, at least. And we had less technology then than we do now, and they were just going off, taking photographs and doing interviews and whatnot, and just staying overnight at places. But now it's like everything's a ghost and everything's this, and everything's a demon, and so on and so forth. But back in the day, when it was this thing, they found out almost the majority of cases you read about, Fox sisters, the Grimes, and it's funny how some are very, very similar in tales. They were fake, and that would blow
They were
my mind.
fake. Yeah.
It was, yeah.
And the difference is, Justin, back then they didn't have a fucking YouTube channel. they had a fucking show at the local library.
Yeah.
So they had to attract people to come see what they were going to talk about or do or experiment or show or
And
perform or
risking their
whatever.
credibility as actual scientists.
Now, now it's the same thing now.
Yeah.
But you're seeing it on YouTube channels and TV and whatever. It essentially it's clickbait.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's clickbait 100 years ago. It's just changed.
Yeah, it was clickbait at the local story that they wrote in the local newspaper at the time.
It's like the National Enquirer when you used to pick up those things.
Yeah.
You used to go to the grocery store and went
Bat
to the
Boy.
magazine rack. Bigfoot found. And you read the article. It's like, what?
I'm not gonna lie, I miss those things.
Oh, I
Folks Land in Hannah with Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, where are they now?
Yeah. They're talking with aliens. They're having
those were the good old days.
Yeah.
Well, I really miss those fucking things. I mean, you know why? Because those things made you think.
Yeah.
Those things made you wonder. And if it wasn't for the things like that, you wouldn't fucking bother with this shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's really healthy to look to question this shit and ask all the questions you can possibly question, because if you didn't, that's it. You would sit there like a lot of these fucking, you'd sit there like a lot of these people who fucking watch this shit and go, oh my god, did you see they fucking conjured up a ghost last night? Because seeing is believing, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, humans like tangibility, right? They like they like what's it's safe within their senses scope. If it's outside that your senses, you don't realize it. It's not real. It doesn't matter. But there's so much going on outside those senses that you don't fucking realize. And that's what intrigues me about the paranormal. Because that's where a lot of these answers lie. And it's just a matter of keeping at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Studying, researching everything we can, trying to get as many experiences as you can, even with understanding the mind and whatnot. What kind of blew my mind was when I had my collapse about 3 years ago or so, when I found out about my polyps and stuff. I did a EEG, and they're like, you gotta try not to sleep. Sleep when you get here. We want to do the study, check your brain, blah blah blah. And I was like, fine. I was tired. I was ready to go do this. Like, all right, get ready to go to sleep. Whatnot. And I I apparently after it was done, I was sleeping, but me, I didn't feel like I was sleeping. I felt like I was just in a meditative state. Yet to them, they got the information they wanted. And that, for some reason, was like, that's interesting. Because I told them, I was like, I didn't feel like I was sleeping at all. Oh, no, your brain, the scans say you were. And I was like, what? I could hear the people in the hallway. I could hear the equipment, at the buzzing of certain things, which is what I would use to do, some meditation. And nothing I'm saying is literally unfounded when it comes to meditation and understanding, what's going on with the brain. But I was somewhat blown away that I have this doctor here that's actually doing a study on me to find out what's going on, possibly what's going on in my head. And I'm supposed to be sleeping, and I didn't feel like I was, but their tools were. And again, that goes back to having the EEG and other things, because we really don't know what's going on when we're experiencing these things or going in a certain state of mind when we're supposed to be doing other things, But it blew my mind to that extent. Like, what was this? What's going on here? That this is registering that I was sleeping, but I know I was aware of my surroundings, hearing all the sounds in the hallways. That's literally a door closed away, And it was just interesting to understand. Long story, we really don't know. We really don't know what's going on when we're experiencing these things, and we can't just jump to the conclusion that it's the ghost or it's this or it's
Yeah.
we really have to take into account all these little factors in our lives. Even recently, when I was telling you guys about my experience,
Yeah.
which is interesting, I was working working on a furnace, putting in a thermostat in this house that they want to renovate. And it kind of has a creepy feeling to it. I'm over here. I have my headphone in my right ear, just my Bluetooth, listening to one of my podcasts, and I'm doing my thing, and I'm getting a little frustrated. It's one of those Ecobee thermostats, which, professionally, I don't suggest if you have an old furnace, because they don't always work. So don't waste your money unless you know for sure. And I'm like, what's going on? And all of a sudden, I hear in this year, someone was talking to me, which sounded like my client. But I can't tell you what they said. I just felt like they were talking to me. And I go, oh, hey, I'm trying to finish up. And I go, wait a minute. Because I heard it, but I didn't feel their presence or hear them walk in. I turn around. No one was there. And I could tell you, I heard it out of this ear. I could tell you, I felt like someone was talking to me. And it was blowing my mind. I'm like, wait a minute, did I just have that? Did that just really happen to me? Next day, I think a couple of days, I had to go down and I had to redo the duct, the return duct to the system downstairs. There's a crawl space right by the furnace, laundry room. And I was there a couple times, and this time I'm there. I walk past this area. There's a crawl space door, and I get up to go grab a tool or something, and this thing was open.
Do you want me to show the pictures?
Yeah, if you could get those pictures up real quick.
Yeah.
The area in the door. And it is kind of a creepy place. I don't know how long it was. I think it was a couple of years or so that it's been uninhabited. There you go. Yeah, right in the area, right by this wall here. I'm standing there doing my thing. You can see how empty it is, and it's even a little creepy with the shadows and the way everything is. I didn't feel anything overall, but I'm standing there, and sure enough, right in the back where this open area is, where you see the four kind of pillars coming down, is where I heard the person talking to me, where they would have came through the kitchen to come in through the door, and right behind that wall is the front door. And I heard it out of my left ear, like someone was talking to me, and I just responded, like saying, "Oh yeah, I'm almost finishing up, but I'm running into this issue," and I just turn around and no one's there at all, no one.
Oh.
And then when I'm in the basement, these doors, which I checked, are easy. There you go. Easy to. These are the doors, as I took the picture, open. And I walked past this, and this wasn't open. Now it's a crawl space, okay? So that means drafts can come through and everything. And maybe when the furnace kicked on, maybe air kind of came in and created a vacuum or pushed air out. Closed them. It was a little hard to close compared to opening them. Much easier to open, harder to close. I went inside. I actually thought someone was in there because this house hasn't been habited in for almost a couple of years. So I'm like, maybe someone's in here. And that was more my thought. I actually go into that cross space, look around. No one's in there. I don't feel a draft.
I don't feel nothing. I'm there another day to finish up the ducting, and it didn't open up at any. I tell the homeowner, my client, who's a Muslim, and I at first was kind of hesitant to tell him what I experienced, but as soon as I said something, he goes, "Did you experience?" He literally was, "Did you experience something?" I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, I didn't give him he doesn't know my whole story. I've been working with him for a couple of years now, and I just said, "Listen, I'm a spiritualist, but I'm also very skeptical about certain things. So I don't want. I just want to tell you, and I just want to give a heads up." And he goes, "This is not my first time that I've experienced something or that I had to call someone to do an They believe in exorcisms too.
Yeah.
To exorcise the house." And I was like, "Oh wow, at least I don't feel like I was going crazy or something."
I'm not crazy. I'm normal here, man.
I had even told him, I was like, I didn't give him the whole story that I've been doing this for 20 years or so, blah blah blah, because I ain't gonna lie, doing 20. These are the very few things that happen to me that make me question what's going on. And of course I have, as you heard, I have literally theories of why that could have happened besides the actual physical theories. But he said that this is not the first time, and it's not the first time he had to call an exorcism to one of his properties. And I was like blown away and relieved at the same time that I was able to talk to him about these things. But sure enough, these happened. It didn't happen again. I had to go back there to pick up the ventilation that I left that I didn't use. Nothing at all. The door didn't open up. The furnace kicked down multiple times. Blah blah blah. Nothing happened. It was just those two instances within a couple days of each other, and then that was it.
So are you gonna get a call from this guy, Justin? Can you come in and investigate this place? For me?
Maybe. He has the heads up. I have some sort of validation that something happened. And it's a possibility. I have my Bluetooth in my ear. Maybe I kind of conflated what I was listening to, but in this ear, there was a total tonal difference between what was in this Bluetooth and what I was hearing out of this ear. No doubt.
It's weird.
So there's something could have been in there, for all I know. Something could have happened there. I don't have the history yet or anything. And I wanted to go back with some equipment to see if anything was picking up at all. But at the same time, I just want to get out there and get paid. I just want to get out there and get paid. So next time something does happen, I'm a little more ready because at least I have that. And also have the homeowner who's up to date at least with me too. And I know he's going to be okay with certain things.
Yeah.
So, we don't know. We don't know what could have caused that. I don't know what, if it was the state of mind I was in or whatever, but most definitely something weird happened there. And it was more on this end. Now, of course, the door's opening up as I think oh God, I think the last time I was on here was November or October, I want to say.
Mhm.
And I was talking to Richard, and we were talking about superpositions, and this is where science comes into play that can explain this.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe the superposition, those doors opening up, I just so happened for whatever reason it happened. The glitch in the matrix happened there, or maybe my frequency in the brain, just like when you're driving, okay, and you're like, hey, I'm in my brain, I'm in my head thinking all these thoughts. How did I get to the gas station? I don't even know. I'm driving. I'm in my head. And I'm at the gas station already. How did that happen?
That fucking happens quite a lot. I don't know. Do you guys find that happening?
Yeah.
You're driving and it's like, wait a sec, I don't remember going from that intersection to your.
It's something with the beta frequency. I forget. I was looking into the studies about it, but there's a certain frequency your brain is where you're able to operate, but you're elsewhere. You're technically elsewhere here. You know? So there's a possibility that door was open the whole time. I just never noticed it until I walked out and I was frustrated working already with 10 and everything, and I just happened to notice it. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm pretty 99% sure that those doors were closed, and I'm 99% sure I heard some voice out of my left ear talk to me. In order for me, even for me to respond, like, "Oh yeah, I'm trying to finish up." Nothing has ever happened to me like that at all. Besides some weird, like I've explained before, and those weird little instances with lights and the lampshade moving and a few other things, which are again, I'm very skeptical, but I could tell you some weird stuff's going on. Can't totally explain it, but there's most definitely weird stuff going on.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah,
that is weird. That's I mean, Gord, what about you? I mean, have you had an experience that you just like, what the fuck?
The creepiest one I ever said I would have is when I first moved to Port Colborne in 2005. I didn't get any feelings about this house. It was an older lady that had owned it. No reason to freak out whatsoever. And I remember about a week after being there, you know, when someone comes up to your ear, you can feel the breath on your ear and the goosebumps.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I was asleep and somebody whispered "Gord" in my ear. So I jumped, thinking maybe it's the kids or something. There was nothing there. No one there. I have no explanation for that whatsoever. Calling out my name, all right, maybe I dreamt it. You know, maybe it was part of a dream. But the fact that I felt the breath with the goosebumps, I got nothing. I really have no way to explain that one at all.
That is weird. That is extremely weird. I mean, well, how could you explain it, right?
Exactly. Like, it seemed to be just milliseconds, but again, was I dreaming and I dreamt this and it just happened to be one of those real dreams or whatever? I got nothing.
What do you think, Justin? How can you explain something like that?
I mean, it has to be. But again, if he was laying there, it could be we're in a meditative state in a certain frequency of the brain, and it could be a possibility that, you were maybe dreaming, it popped up, or we were in such a state of mind that we're open enough to possibly hear a verbal memory of the past or a verbal memory of your own past, which is possible when it comes to psychic experiences. People have picked up ghostly situations where they can pinpoint that it was something from their past that they did, which blew my mind too when I've seen psychics do this, supposed intuitives do this. So there, it's a possibility within that realm, but most definitely, yeah, it's up in the air when it comes to these particular things. Now, scratches and actually seeing things, when people say they see full things and so on, that's very hard. But everything else in between, there's some room to be like as a state of mind, or maybe there's something happening on the quantum level, of our universe. We can't explain it already, so who knows what could it be?
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, man. It's you have all these weird things that happen that you just, no matter what, you sit there and scratch your head, you're baffled. And again, it's something that you kind of seek, I guess, solace in science trying to explain, but they can't explain. Because I mean, let's face it, this shit happens. It does. It fucking happens, and we can't explain it. Science can't explain it.
Yeah,
it's I don't know, man. It's pretty fucked up shit.
And then this is why we should be using all the tools we can, from the EMFs to our own brains to our understanding of our world. And if you are gonna have a interest in the paranormal, if you are a paranormal researcher, you do your best to be well-rounded, well-read before you go out and really take into consideration what you're telling people and what you're doing, because without any of that, you're just open to anything, and you're not helping anyone when you're just waving your EMF around and you don't know what it is, or you're saying things are demons and ghosts and you really don't even have a grasp on even the philosophy or history of what demons are and what ghosts are, and you just have one speck of your own religious understanding of it. It's not going to help anybody at all. And most definitely, it's not helping anyone's mental state in that case. I mean, it may. You can feed a lot of people a placebo effect, and it helps them. But in the long run, it's not helping you. It's not helping them, and it's not helping anything in the research field at all. If we're leaving it up to that, we really do have to throw the whole bathtub in if we're really going to take these things seriously. What you laughing at?
Gord. I'm so pretty.
I see that smile, and
Hey man, how come I got more hair than I usually do? What's up with that?
I just had
That's the way I'm going to work tomorrow. That's it. Done.
Yeah.
Steve had a Picasso moment.
A Picasso.
You gotta show it, Gord.
I don't know how to do any of that. There
oh
we go.
Jesus!
Look, that guy has more hair than me. Son of a.
Mysterious hair growth.
Don't need Rogaine, you need paranormal. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Oh man, too much. Too much. Hold on, let's just get rid of this here. Hold on. All right, we got that. Yeah, so yeah, well, like there is so much that and I'm sure you guys are the same way. I think pretty much this is the reason why we keep our feet into this sort of realm. As much as a lot of the stuff that's out there, we sit there and go, what the fuck? There's still an element that keeps us coming back and saying, okay, I want to know more.
Yeah.
What is it?
What's that element?
Yeah, what's that element that keeps you coming back?
Because we don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. As much as I have an answer for certain things, I really don't know. And as much as I've seen all sorts of things, experienced all even the understanding of meditative states, doing my rituals and being part of those things, which if you look, you do see a lot of correlation with being in a state of mind. Even doing rituals, in a sense, from my understanding from New Age beliefs and so on, you have to put yourself in a state of mind, which makes me open to those things, and from that makes me question anything else that's going on, just because we can put ourselves in a certain mind frame to see and experience certain things. This is why most magical practices have nothing to do with the physical. It's all the mental. So there's something there for sure for that. But because I don't know is what keeps me going. Until I get that wonderful firehouse chubby from Ghostbusters like Ray did, and you know the scene I'm talking about. Until that happens, I can't say ghosts exactly exist in that physical realm as they do. I have not seen anything or experienced anything to tell me that, but I have, just like this, experienced weird noises, seen weird things move and whatnot, and most definitely the unknown is what keeps me going. Who's fingering their microphone?
I was just gonna say, yeah, that's why I'm laughing. I'm like, there's like,
what is happening?
His finger in the microphone. Oh God.
That's great.
It's the after hours party, man.
Yeah.
Giddy up, Woodward.
Oh, this is all the play I'm gonna get because my kids are sleeping in the bed now, and I kicked out at the moment.
hey, Justin, you want me to send you like a jar of hand sanitizer? Not hand sanitizer, like cream.
Yeah. I'm
Lotion.
gonna need it for these lonely nights, thanks to my kids. These little cock blockers.
You can't really see it too well on my
you can't see it.
You're gonna have to show it, Steve.
Is that my spank big material for later?
Steve's having a good night when he's like,
That's it right there. Definitely it
like
right there.
Neanderthal version of me.
Now that's paranormal. That's paranormal.
This is why I can't experience any paranormal, because I take one look at that picture.
Wait a sec.
Like,
Did you? Oh wait.
Scare all the ghosts away.
I think I got rid of it, but I think you still have it, don't you, Alex?
What's that?
The picture I sent you.
Which one?
This one here.
Oh boy, here we go.
This one here.
Oh yeah.
The Calgary Flames coach.
Right.
Apparently, I look like him.
No, he's Spock. We've already talked about this.
Yeah,
I'm Spock.
I showed you this.
Who's Spock?
Oh yeah, yes. No,
new-
from what
the
is
new
it?
Star Trek, Strange
Right.
New Worlds, starring
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta
Alex
check that out.
Rondini as Spock.
That's right. That's right. Oh,
Hey, all I
well,
gotta say is, wait, they've long and
Yeah,
prospered.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, cool. Yeah.
I can't do it anymore.
Yo, 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 yo.
That's really what started. It was gang signs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gang signs. Yeah,
The Romulan-
bled into Star Trek. Oh, wait a sec. Did Star Trek actually influence the gangs?
That might-
No, remember, Gene Simmons invented everything, so Gene Simmons invented that.
Oh yeah. Okay. Quiz question. Who invented the metal horns?
If you watch Metal, A Headbanger's Journey, directed by Sam Dunn from Canada, he asks Ronnie James Dio, he's like, you've been credited as giving the horns. And he's like, no, Gene Simmons did that. Gene Simmons invented everything. Everyone knows that.
Is that what he said?
Yes.
Oh fuck.
You're right. Actually, I thought it was Deal. You're right.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought. I thought it was Dio too. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, but he plays it off all the time. He's like, no, Gene Simmons did it. Gene Simmons invented
I
everything.
almost believed you.
Son of a.
Too much. All right, guys. I think we'll end this. It's been great. It's been fun, and yeah, some great points put out there again. Look forward to having
Taking
you.
your notes out there, peeps.
Look forward to having you both on again for another Dark Discussions.
I appreciate it.
That sounds cool.
Always. We do have a scheduled guest coming up on April. Oh my God, April.
Yeah, that's far away.
Yeah, we're really February 18th.
Yeah, well done.
UK UFO researcher Steve Wills will be coming on the show. I'm looking forward to that.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. Super nice guy. Look forward to hearing about his research and shit. I'm looking forward to that. And of course, we got some, waiting for the dates to drop. But, hey, scheduling is fun. And some people that like to make it a little bit more fun. But yeah, it's all a part about running a radio show and whatever. But hey, if you guys have any suggestions on who you'd like to hear on the show, drop us a line, nocturnalfrequencyradio@gmail.com. If you haven't hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. Help us reach that 1K mark. We're almost there. I think we're at 920. Something
Yeah, I
like
looked
that.
earlier.
Yeah. So I mean, guys, hit that subscribe button if you haven't hit it already. Until next Sunday night, be well, take care, and don't let those bugs bite.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.